Take two. This is Stephen, the Disney Drago Robinson. You're watching the one and only Sporting Icon. Bow bow!
Stephen, hello.
How's things?
All right, thank you. I was at the boxing show in Middlesbrough with Glenn and William and whatever.
Yeah,
Like a Williams opponent pulled out. Well, didn't turn up,
yeah.
and I didn't realize how much weight I'd actually lost. Till Glenn was going, "You're like skinny now."
Yeah, I was getting messages with photos going, is this Martin from Sporting Icons? He's lost so much weight. I says that'll be all the walking he's doing. He'll be doing 30,000 steps a day.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Although you've been doing some good stuff lately. You've been, I don't know whether it's a secret where you've been, but you've been sparring Usyk, preparing for
Yeah,
Fury.
yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, sparring, and it was a honor and it was a pleasure to be invited out again. And they've obviously credit to they've obviously seen something from the last spawn, enjoyed it to be invited out again. So this could be the third time, the trilogy, and there's still not a fight yet. It's a trilogy of sparring, but yet to have a fight. So where camps are concerned, I could end up in 6 or 7 Usyk camps.
But I mean, and obviously, like he was out there for what, about 5 weeks, something like that. He was out there for a while,
Yeah.
and like he was out there when the news broke that Tyson pulled out. I mean, what was Usyk's camp? I mean, they must have been pissed off.
Do you know what it is? To actually, so we were sparring. I mean, the photo that went viral. So I had said that I don't want to be in any photos because I wasn't I wasn't up for doing interviews because the other people were getting, they were getting hounded to do interviews. And I was there to do a job. I wasn't there to do interviews and give out little secrets by dropping something in. Or
Mm.
so when they were getting photos taken of the group sparring partners, I had sort of made it me, not to be in them. Um, and obviously people didn't even know I was out there, and then the photo went viral and I hadn't even seen it, of me and him sparring when the team got the news. Um, so I didn't even. I was unaware. I jumped out the ring, and the other sparring partner says, "Oh, it's the fight's not on." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Oh, Fury split his face open." And then everyone on Usyk's team was sort of on the phone, and you knew sort of then it had been sort of confirmed and verified. And um, so by this time, Usyk was taking his wraps off, still didn't know, was, going around, done his prayer after he finished sparring, which he always does. And then I think he got told, and he sort of just said, guys, come in, group photo, got a group photo. And he sort of said, what, this is what God has chosen, and this is what God thinks is right. And whatever God wants to happen, it'll happen, and it'll sort itself out. He was very sort of religious about the whole situation and scenario, and he was, um, just walking around with the exact same mindset. He finished his abs, he finished his neck workout after finding out that there was no sparring. Then he finished off all his um, reaction work. Then he's ball on his head where you punch it. And I mean, credit to him. He done another hour straight after he found them news out, and done what he's done after every spar, and finished off his full workout.
I mean, that's very professional, isn't it? I mean, like a lot of people would just went, fuck this, blah blah blah, and like took to social media and Tyson's a coward and all that, but Usyk could stay quiet.
Yeah, I think he was. I think they're both two very religious men, and I think the critics and the people coming out saying that it was on purpose and that he cut himself, are crazy to think that he would do that, because he's lost millions of pounds. You could see he was in the shape of his career. He was in great shape. Take nothing away from him. I'm sure he had a very hard camp. And it's just one of them unfortunate things. I mean, I'm sure Tyson Fury was as pissed off and upset of the situation as Usyk was. I think a lot of it stemmed back to what had happened with David Hay, and I think he just sort of had to eat a bit humble pie with that. But listen, that's karma, and unfortunately, it's happened. But I think Tyson will come back bigger, stronger, better. I think Usyk will come back bigger, stronger, better. And I look forward to May and finally seeing them fight. Otherwise, they've got 10 million quid to pay.
But yeah, I know that while you was out there, there was talk that Team Usyk kind of felt that they're about to be ordered to fight Herkovic, so they kind of like continued for a little bit, but then it kind of sorted itself out for a new date for May.
Uh, that
So
that was that happened on the night time. That sort of told that we were going to be staying on because there was a possibility of him fighting Hergovic, and obviously Hergovic is 6'6", 18 stone. So the sparring partners he had out there weren't bad sparring partners for Philip. And I think by the Saturday it had already been confirmed that that show wasn't happening and that fight wasn't going ahead. And Daniel Lappin, who was meant to be fighting on the show, who's Sergey's brother,
mm,
one of Usyk's teammates, he was they were trying the best to get him on anything, and I think they've managed to get him on at Madrid. So because he was ready, and he was there as well, sparring with us, and obviously different weight categories. And the people don't realize how much wear and tear it puts onto your body when you're not world champions, when you haven't got 20 million quid in the bank. For people like myself and others, these camps of 10-week camps of money that you've spent, and the tiredness of your body and what you put your body through. When these fights fall through, people don't realize what effects it actually has on us physically and mentally and financially.
I mean, I know it's happened to you before. Last weekend, it happened to Will Howe.
It's
Be on the night.
Yeah, it's the problem is now is it's a bit like I know people who are getting into bodybuilding, and when they leave, there's no effects on what it actually does to your body. You struggle with body dysmorphia, you struggle with anxiety, you struggle with so many things. But when you're prepping, you don't get told none of this, and by the time you've finished prepping, and it's then too late. And boxing's very similar. Nobody really talks about the mental side of things and what it actually does to you when things like this happen. And when you lose and you get all the dickheads sitting on social media messaging you and posting things, and you're viewing things and you're seeing things. And I mean, I've seen a photo of the group of lads who was sparring Usyk, and as I say, I didn't want to be in the photo. A group of good lads, nice kids, just doing the job, just being there and doing what they need to do. And the photo got posted up, I think, by AFL TV, and the comments: "Who is this kid? this kid's record is embarrassing. And just like so unnecessary to the fact that they were posting Usyk sparring partners. People just went in on the individuals that were there, calling them, insulting them, and you just think, why? What do you feel necessary? What are you struggling with? What are you suffering with to have to turn your insecurities and your bad day or bad week or bad month onto others? Like, just I just don't get it. But unfortunately, nobody really talks about that side of boxing. Nobody talks about the effects that and how shit it actually is, and the fact that you're having to sell 150 tickets
Mm.
to make minuscule amounts of money, and then you've got a camp first to come off the top of that, and you've got physios, and you've got nutrition, and your coach's percentage and your manager's percentage, and then that fight falls through, and you have to go about giving all the tickets back and handing all the money back in, but you've already footed the bill for your physios and your nutrition, and you footed the bill for your sparring partners and the
Time
petrol
away
you've
from
wasted.
family.
Yeah. On top of the financial side, the mental side and the physical side is it, and we're not spoke about that enough, and there's not enough people out there who talk about what it actually does. But at the same time, we're blessed. We get to wake up and do what we do with the beauty of sponsorships and the kind generosity of people like that out there who fund us to, with their hard-earned cash to do what we do. So we've got to take the positives, the negatives with the positives, and I always look at what I have got, not what I haven't got, and every day I wake up and I can see. Maybe I'm at half the time I need my specs on, but I can see, I can taste, I can touch. I get to spend time with my family, and that's the main thing of what life's about. And we're blessed every day with what we've got. And as I say, I look at what I have got, not what I haven't got.
Well, firstly, I mean, apologies to everybody who can hear me coughing. I do apologize. I've got a cold. But to go back onto your point about like people having a go at Usyk's sparring partners, the way I see it, Usyk, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight world champion, unified heavyweight world champion. I think his team know what they're doing.
Well, but listen, some people are better sparers than they are fighters, and some people, when you're fighting 6, 7, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, you may not be as proficient as you are sparring 2 or 3. When you're only fighting 2 or 3 rounds, look at all the amateur boxers who aren't very good at turning pro. Look at all the Cubans that. You know, and there's so many out there who are fitted to that style of just putting pressure on for 3 rounds, and that's what sparring is. That you're a sparring partner. You're only doing 2, 3, maximum 4 rounds. So like, you can't discredit somebody for being out there and getting the work in with the world champion, and sit and call them and slate them, whilst you're sitting you know, uh, in the house, just insulting somebody who's chasing the dream
Thing
and
is,
could have
though, I
been.
mean, it's like the way I see sparring partners. I mean, it's obvious to you and everything, obviously, but if you're having like three or four different sparring partners, like Usyk is for Tyson Fury, so he's brought in you, he's brought in Marius Wack and others. You are not a carbon copy of Tyson Fury, nor is Wack, nor any others, but you bring bits of what Tyson Fury can do. You bring bits. You've got the height, the strength, all that kind of thing, and each one brings their own little thing, and that's what Usyk's looking for because you can't get a carbon copy of Fury or anyone.
Oh, look! I mean, look at what who Fury had in, and his Moses Atoma and Jay Apatoya, and the other people he had in,
Yeah.
Thomas Carty or them similar to Usyk. They're not. But at the same time, he's got himself southpaw sparring, quick, heavy-handed kids who are there to, again, just do the job, work, and spend time learning as well. And as I say, it's you can't discredit somebody for chasing a dream and doing what they love to do every day. And regardless of what the records are, regardless of what they've done in the sport, they they're just kids, normal people who have a family, who have feelings, chasing a dream, and that's what we're all doing. None of us enjoy it. None of us want, you know, to be punched in the face, but at the same time, this is what was chose for, and we're just chasing that dream and trying to become something or someone and be the best versions of ourselves. And unfortunately, there's people who are happy to sit there and put we down. And I've got 13,500 followers, and I remember having 10 saying, I wonder if I'll ever get to 100. And then when I got to 100, I thought, I wonder if I'll ever hit 500. And then I wonder if I'll ever hit 1,000. And none of that matters,
Mm.
because the people that matter are those who, are on the journey with you. And one follower or 100,000 followers, as long as that one follower is somebody who's there, no matter what the outcome is, that's all that matters. People who pick you up when you're down, people who are there for you when you're down. Listen, I'm coming off the back of a loss, you know, with a good kid. Where is that kid? Where I don't know where he's gone, but the guy was 6-0, and does that matter? No. It we'll live, we'll learn. I never look at a loss as a loss. I look at it as a lesson, and we'll fall over so we can learn to pick ourselves up and we'll go again. And once I get my medical through and my brain scan through, and there's a couple of little limps on the brain scan of varicose vein, which we just need to get signed off, which it'll all go through. And once that happens, we'll go again, and we'll get back to the drawing board, and we'll fight on. And you know, it's it happens. There's a winner and there's a loser. It's a two-man sport, woman sport, female sport. There's got to be a loser, unfortunately. And we'll move on. We'll live on. We'll move forward, and we'll get to wake up and we'll live another day.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, I know that several weeks ago there was talk about, I don't know whether is this public? I don't know. Talk about you versus Thomas Carty. Now, I mentioned him because he was in Tyson Fury's camp. You're in Usyk's camp. What are the chances of you versus Thomas Carty in May on the Fury Usyk undercard?
It would listen. It would be good, but at the same time, I think Thomas Carty would respectfully admit, and I would respectfully admit that you're not in camp. Like, you know, I don't know if Tyson Fury's camp's any different, but with Usyk's camp, he's paying the wages to the other sparring partners, so they don't allow you any more sparring. So realistically, I'm not going to be fit if I'm in a camp to be fighting. Um, you're getting 3 rounds in every other day, maximum 4, and that fight's going to be over a 10 rounder.
Mm.
So you don't get any pad work when you're away. You don't get any, like I said, it's not the ideal preparation for a big fight. There's been talks of Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher called us out on the last fight, and on the for the 13th of April, and there's talks out there, and all I need to do is I need to get back. I need to get my brain scan signed off before anything.
Mhm.
Then once that's done, we'll sit down, we'll get on the drawing board, we'll get a date put forward, and we'll move on, we'll move forward, and it's been done. We took a loss, and we'll redeem that loss, and we've got another loss on the record, and we'll redeem that. And as I say, it's learning. It's a sport where somebody has to lose, and we'll move on, we'll push forward, and
That's a good point, actually. I never really thought about that because you only do a few rounds and whatever else in like these elite, like these elite training camps. Well, it's great sparring. It's not going to put you right for an 8 rounder or a 10 rounder.
definitely not. Which is
You
the
need your own
reason why
camps for that.
I refused to go over for 10 weeks. There was kids there who were over for 8, 9, 10 weeks, and when we got asked originally, it was sort of I wasn't prepared to live in a hotel
Mm.
and get minimal amount of training for 10 weeks. It wouldn't have done me head any good. And it wouldn't have done me fitness or anything any good. So I think 5 weeks was a good amount of time to be out there. Maybe a little bit too long, but again, I knew that I had nothing in the pipeline. I knew that there was things we needed to wait for and to be ticked off before any of that went moved on. So yeah, we'll go when the time's right. Um, I've got a good team around us. I've got a good amount of people and good bunch of people around us. You being one of them who keep us motivated, who keep us lifted up, and you know, as I say, the sky's my limit, and I'll do everything I possibly can in the sport, and I'm doing 2 talks in a school next week, two different schools, and I still get asked for photos, and this is just every time I get an opportunity like this, it's surreal, it's amazing because it's something I never expected. Just a normal kid getting asked to go and talk into a school,
Yeah.
which I was unable to complete. So to try and tell kids sticking at school is going to be tough because I'm not one to tell them, you know, you need your GCSEs, you need to do this because if anything, I think the fucking opposite about schools. I think we're forced upon to do right, and we're lied to, and built up that we need this and we need that. Otherwise, we're going to be X, Y, and Z. And the reality of it is you don't need GCSEs, you don't need A levels and diplomas that have cost you 30 grand to be successful. You can be successful with the right mindset and the right people around you.
That is very true. It's a good way of looking at everything. And good luck with all that, by the way. Like a chance to them
Yeah.
kids. I'm sure they enjoy it.
I'll probably get kicked out of the school when I start telling them some home truth.
Yeah, yeah, don't do that. Tell them what they need to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my man. Anyway, we'll catch up with you again soon. Well, and
Yes, thank you. And it's obviously we've both been a little bit missing for a while, so it's good. It's good to have spoke to you, and I'm sure everybody on the channel will be happy to hear from Sporting Icons because
not me coughing
you've
though. What?
yeah, well, you've been missed in the YouTube world, and I think people need you back.
Well, you and me will make the comeback soon.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Right. Thank you very much. Cheers.